Hello, hope all is well. Today we've been looking at something that I've spent way too much time thinking about, and that's sort of why I'm making this video, and that's the importance of mono, at least from a guitar playing perspective. A lot of presets, patches and things that you might hear or play through tend to be like set up for this glorious wide stereo kind of setup. And when you're at home, of course, you're in this ideal listening position. You've got both speakers set up quite well, and you're playing in the sweet spot, as it were, so you get a perfect sort of reproduction of how things would sound on a perfect sort of stereo setup. When you take things to live and playing shows and things like that, that situation changes depending on the venue and depending on the setup and also how things are run over there, and that's what I want to explore today. So some examples to start off with. So I've got a looper going here. It's going to be playing the same riff over and over again, and we're going to switch through a few different things. So the first setup will be in stereo, and the second will be what's going on in the left channel. The third will be what's going on in the right channel, and then the last one will be that same stereo signal that's coming in, but it's been summed to mono, if that makes sense. So it's been collapsed to mono. So what we could hear there was that, you know, the mono setup, where the two cabs are set up so it's summed as mono and goes out as mono, it's consistent throughout each of those four scenarios. So whether you're only listening to the left channel or the right channel or the stereo both together, that sound is essentially the same. Even when it's collapsed to mono, it's already in mono, so it's going to sound the same. And with the stereo setup, you know, I have two slightly different cabs. They're hard panned left and right, and because of those differences, it's going to sound wider, bigger, brighter, whatever the sort of terms that you want to use. But because of that, when you're just listening to, say, the left or the right channel, they're quite different sounds. So, you know, my thinking here is maybe someone who's way over on one side of the venue is just going to hear, you know, the 57 on a cab block that you chose that is maybe a bit more, you know, bright or even harsh, if you want to call that. But the magic comes when you blend the condenser mic on that other cab that's fit together. So what I wanted to put forward here is that, you know, think about when you're playing live or when you're taking your sounds and things that you've made or things that you use to a live application, the idea of like, well, you might only just get one channel on the front of house. You know, you might only have a mono feed that they'll take. And a lot of units, they sum quite well to mono, or they can do that. But it's worth checking in advance to not be in that situation where you show up to a gig and you're getting these kind of phase cancellation issues or these weird sounds because your stereo setup isn't really compatible with collapsing back down to mono, or it doesn't work. So that's something I definitely look at trying out. So this is where I need your help and feedback. I'd love to hear from, say, experienced audio engineers, people who do live sound, work in venues, and also other players out there. I mean, what's your setup? Are you running a stereo setup for live? Do you have stereo in-ear monitors? Is that the setup that you prefer to use? And otherwise, are you running, say, mono in-ear monitoring? And you have purely mono presets and a mono setup that you use for live use. And hopefully in the process, I'll regain some sleep on the subject. In any case, thanks for watching. Hope this was useful for you. And if you like this kind of content, please drop a like and subscribe. Really helps me out. Thanks a lot.